On the news, Southern governors say each state should be allowed to negotiate minimum wage. National Assembly approves extension of 2023 Appropriation Act implementation. And Senate denies approving new presidential jet for Tinubu and Shettima. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkolye. The Southern Governors Forum, comprising 17 governors from the southern part of Nigeria, has issued a series of resolutions aimed at addressing critical issues in this state. In a communique released after their meeting, the governors called for each state to have the autonomy to negotiate a new minimum wage labor unions tailored to the cost of living and each state ability to pay. The proposal comes as a response to ongoing demands for wage adjustment by labor groups. The 16-point communique also emphasized the need for strengthening fiscal federalism and developing more powers to the state. The governors also reiterated their support for the creation of state police, citing the success of regional community-based security outfits in intelligence gathering and crimes prevention. The National Assembly has approved an extension for the implementation of the capital aspect of the 2023 Appropriation Act, moving the deadline from June 30, 2024 to December 31, 2024. The decision followed a request by President Bola Tinubu, who sought the extension to ensure the full implementation of the budget. Now, both the Senate and the House of Representatives passed the bill to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill, thus extending its implementation period. The emergency plenary, presided over by Senate President Godswill Akpabio on Thursday, expedited the legislative process, allowing the bills to pass through all three stages in a single day. Senate leader and sponsor of the executive bill, Senator Okoyemi Bamidele, led the debate on general principles of the bill. Lawmakers quickly supported the passage, recognizing the need for extension.
Distinguished colleagues, you will recall that on Wednesday, 20th March 2024, this act were amended to allow for exhaustive implementation of capital projects under the Act to the 30th day of June 2024. The extension will expire on Sunday, 30th June 2024, and many projects are yet to be completed.
Extending the lifespan of the budget is necessary to execute projects in order to ensure that no projects are abandoned. To leave out the specter of abandoned projects in Nigeria, Mr. President, to all intents and purposes, I think we should resolve to allow this bill to pass appropriately.
For an act to amend the 2023 Appropriation Act in order to extend the implementation year from 30th June 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for related matters 2024. Third reading taken and passed. A bill for an act to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act in order to extend the implementation year from 20th day of June 2024 to 31st day of December 2024, and for related matters 2024. Third reading taken and passed. I thank you for your contributions. I thank you for your patriotic duties, and most especially, I thank you for your timely intervention, which will enable us and enable the executive arm of our government to continue with projects without abandonment.
The Senate has also denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, countering speculations to that effect. Senate President Godswill Akpabio clarified during a plenary section that no such request had been made, calling the rumors mere anticipatory blackmail. Akpabio's remarks came in response to Senate leader Senator Okoyemi Bamidele's observations about purported support for procuring a new presidential aircraft aircraft. Akpabio suggested that a fifth columnist was attempting to destabilize the parliament.
A section of the social media had also been circulating that we had gone into an executive session to discuss about the presidential request for a new plane and how we are going to approve it. Mr. President, the essence of my saying this is just to make it clear and to alert Nigerians that there is the presence of a fifth columnist and some other propagandists who are doing everything possible to destabilize this country and also destabilize the parliament. Mr. President, I say for the record, as the leader of this Senate, that there is no request before this Senate as of yet. So there could not have even been a basis for us to debate whether we are going to approve or not. It had never been discussed either on the floor of this Senate or among individual senators or at the executive closed session. There is no such request.
We care about the president. We care about the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will benefit the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will improve the living standard of the people. At the same time, we will also take cognizance of the duties of Mr. President. If his vehicle is bad, we will repair the vehicle. If his plane is bad, we will approve money for the repair of the plane. So that is not an issue. There is nothing before us.
And the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, facing a 19-count charge from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has requested to face his trial in Kogi State. Bello made the request through his legal team led by Abdulwahab Mohammed, arguing that only the Lokoja division of the Federal High Court had the territorial jurisdiction over his case. His lawyer, Adiola Adedikpe, informed the Federal High Court in Abuja that a letter had been sent to Chief Judge Justice John Tosho requesting the administrative transfer of the case to Lokoja. Adedikpe said the Chief Judge's office had activated administrative steps and sought a response from the prosecution, though no decision has been made yet. Now, in response, the EFCC, represented by Kemi Finero, urged the court to dismiss the defense's request, saying Bello had failed to appear in court despite a previous commitment. Now, joining me to shed more light on this matter is legal practitioner Liberus Oshoma. Thank you for your time, Mr. Liberus. Now, first off, what's the position of the law on matters like this as far as jurisdiction is concerned?
Yeah, the matters, federal high courts in Nigeria are known to have one jurisdiction. I think the Supreme Court had ruled on that a couple of times. But when an application is made to the chief judge of the court, it is left at entirely now at the discretion of the chief judge, depending on the fact placed before the chief judge. So this is not a matter, an issue of challenging the jurisdiction per se of the Federal High Court. But I think it goes beyond that, although I've not seen the letter, but I think it probably goes beyond that for a counsel to make an application to the Chief Judge of Federal High Court requesting a transfer. Because also I know at some point that counsel also had alleged bias on the side of the presiding judge in the matter, considering the fact that, you know, despite the fact that they were subsisting order of a court of conduct jurisdiction, a warrant was issued without hearing the other side. You know, so all of these have been the issues on the matter before now. So I think it's on that note that all of the application, you know, to request a transfer was also premised. So, but like I said, I've not seen the letter, and the chief judge also requested the lawyers on the other side to respond to that application before considering saying it's the actual procedure to follow. So we'll just wait to see how, you know, that pans out.
All right. Now, the
So
former governor has still so far refused to appear in court.
I think the matter
What's the implication of this?
Was an application requesting for a transfer transferred to Asaba. And John was created in Asaba. And Justice Masua Wukuleng was transferred to Asaba and eventually tried a matter. So it's not novel. It's been happening before now.
So the former governor has still so far refused to appear in court. What is the implication of this?
I'm not a lawyer in the matter, so I wouldn't really know about the nitty-gritty of the matter. But what I think is playing out is that there are preliminary issues that lawyers are still arguing. And so on the side of the council representing the former governor, they believe that until these preliminary issues are dealt with, there will be no need for arraignment. But on the side of the EFCC, their position is that despite the preliminary issues that have been raised, which is one of transfer, the other for whether charge has been properly filed and all of those things, that despite all of that, that arraignment can still take place. And so it's on that note that I think that, but it would have been tidier really, like we all say in law, it would be tidier for all the preliminary issues to be taken once and for all, and then the table's clear, and then arraignment can take place properly. But like I said also, I am not a counsel in the matter, and I'm not properly seized with all of those preliminaries, but I know that there are preliminaries indeed, and which is what lawyers have been arguing back and forth on. I think the matter was supposed to come up before now, but lawyers were not, the prosecution lawyers also were not available at that time. That's to the extent I followed the matter.
All right, legal practitioner Liberus Oshoma, thank you for your time. Moving on. The Nigerian Military High Command has credited the successful destruction of terrorist groups and dismantling of their military capabilities to the combined effort of the Nigerian Army, Air Force and Navy. In a recent briefing, the Defense Headquarters confirmed the Nigerian troops have made significant strides during the second quarter of 2024. Now, over 2,000 terrorists have been neutralized and more than 3,000 suspected criminals arrested and 1,000 kidnapped hostages rescued. Major General Edward Buba, the Director of Defense Media Operations, highlighted this achievement while presenting the quarterly review of the Joint Task Force and other military.
We have looked into the need to address the issue of protecting our farmers in the farmlands. Protecting them, why? Because we're in rainy season. And we have a situation in the country where it looks like food shortage is around the corner, and we must not allow that to happen. That is very strategic. And as a result of that, we must protect those farmers. We must ensure that they are able to farm so that we can have a bumper harvest afterwards, and so that the citizens at large can have food on their table. So that is it. To speak about the exact plan will be unwise of me to do so here. Take note that even the enemy is watching me right now. So you asking about hearing a particular service, please note that that service is part of the jointness. Whatever we are doing, we are achieving it together as a joint force, as a single force, representing our nation as an armed forces. We are an armed forces, and we are fighting for our country. Report it as such. When it comes to operations, if it comes to every other thing, you can report it according to the service, no problem. For operational purposes, we are at war, we are one.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says it will need over $2 billion annually to activate and operate a regional standby force to combat terrorism in the region. President of the ECOWAS Commission, Umatura, says it's collective responsibility of all 15 member states to fight against terrorism, saying the inclusion of all member states, even those currently suspended, was crucial for effective counter-terrorism efforts. He spoke at the opening section of a meeting of ECOWAS Ministers of Finance and Defense in Abuja on Thursday convened to discuss the establishment of a regional force to combat terrorism and unconstitutional government changes. The meeting followed directives from the ECOWAS Authority of the Heads of State and Government, urging swift action to mobilize resources for their critical initiatives. Now, Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, also emphasized the critical financial implications involved in activating the standby force.
All 15 ECOWAS member states have been invited to take part in this important meeting. And the reason is certainly the authorization and the approval given to the Commission's proposal to this effect sometime in the past. It is believed that we cannot fight terrorism alone or while others are not participating. That is why the Commission proposed to the authority, through, of course, the Council of Ministers, that although countries might be under suspension, they should be allowed to take part in meetings relating to security as well as in sectoral meetings.
Our gathering here today is driven by the urgent need to consider the financing options in the memorandum to be presented by the ECOWAS Commission for deploying the proposed regional force. The financial implications of those proposals are significant. The overall estimation cost is $2,695,640 per year for a brigade of 500 men. The alternative proposal is for a brigade of 1,650 men with an estimate annual cost of $459,865. Those figures underscore the gravity of the task before us and the necessity of a robust and sustainable resource mobilization strategy. It is therefore imperative that we critically review the options considering the current challenges confronting our region and the financial constraints facing our various member states. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on those deliberations, I urge each of us to contribute robustly with a view to providing actionable recommendations in order to address those challenges.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, federal government advances fiber optic expansion project. Details after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
Because when you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Now, here's a recap of our top stories. The Southern Governors Forum, consisting of 17 governors from Nigeria's southern states, has issued a 16-point communique addressing critical state issues. Key resolutions include advocating for each state to have the autonomy to negotiate a new minimum wage with labor unions, tailored to the cost of living and state financial capacity, and supporting fiscal federalism and the devolution of more powers to the state. Additionally, the governors reiterated their support for the creation of state police, highlighting the success of regional community-based security outfits in intelligence gathering and crime prevention. We also told you that the Senate on Thursday denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, countering rumors and speculations. Now, Senate President Godswill Akpabio clarified this during a plenary section that no such request had been made, dismissing the claims as anticipatory blackmail and attributing them to fifth columnist aiming to destabilize the parliament. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. It's now time for business news. Let's now join Okweyemi Owosheni, who is on standby. Over to you, Okweyemi.
Thank you, Tamilore. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced a discontinuation of its price verification system portal, citing recent developments in the Nigerian foreign exchange market, effective from July 1st, 2024. This decision was communicated through a circular issued by W.J. Kanaya, that's the Acting Director of the Trade and Exchange Department, on Wednesday. Now, in light of the new directive, the CBN has streamlined procedures by eliminating the requirement for a price verification report when submitting Form M applications. Authorized seller banks and the public will now validate Form M applications without relying on the PVS portal. This policy adjustment is expected to simplify the foreign exchange process and alleviate administrative burdens associated with compliance. Still on business, the federal government of Nigeria has reported significant progress in discussions with development finance institutions towards establishing a special purpose vehicle aimed at expanding the nation's fiber optic network by an additional 90,000 kilometers. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, disclosed this following a productive meeting with stakeholders. The initiative, approved by the government in May, marks a strategic effort to enhance internet accessibility, particularly in rural and undeserved areas. Upon completion, Nigeria's fiber optic cable infrastructure is set to increase from 35,000 kilometers to 125,000 kilometers, positioning it as the third longest terrestrial fiber optic backbone in Africa after South Africa and Egypt. He emphasized that this project is committed to significantly improving connectivity nationwide, thereby enhancing the lives of all citizens in the country. We'll go on a short break and be back with stock market report. Welcome back. The bulls maintained their strong hold on the NGX, continuing their win on Thursday, with the market increasing by 0.01%. Now, Seplat Petroleum Co. led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, increasing by 344 naira 19 kobo, moving from 3,450 naira per share to 3,794 naira per share. So, it's followed closely by Kutix PLC. Now, market activities regained end of trading as 529 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 7,666 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 10 billion naira. Now, when compared with the previous NGX trading day, we see 92% improvement in volume and 155 improvement in turnover. While for foreign equities, the UK and the Asian markets maintained a bearish trade. It's a different case, however, for the US Dow Jones, as it maintained a bullish trade and closed in the bulls at 0.14%. Now let's take a quick look at our foreign exchange market. Well, the dollar traded at 1,520 naira on the black market as against the official market, while the Great British Pound traded at 1,900 naira on the black market. For the euros, it traded at 1,590 naira on the black market. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Tamilore, back to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Okpeyemi. Now on the global scene in Bolivia, 2 senior army leaders were arrested following an incident President Luis Acri described as an attempted coup. The situation unfolded on Wednesday when troops and tanks deployed around Plaza Murillo, a historic square outside the presidency and Congress, sparking international condemnations. Reports indicated that one tank even attempted to breach the metal door of the presidential palace. Now, General Ose Zuniga, the dismissed army chief, justified the actions of the troops, saying they aim to reform democracy and break the decade-long dominance of a few individuals in power. However, the military presence and statement was swiftly countered by authorities, leading to the arrest of General Zuniga and Juan Anese Salvador, head of the Bolivian Navy. Interior Minister Eduardo del Castillo labeled them as coup leaders who sought to undermine Bolivia's democratic institutions. And still on the global scene, junior hospital doctors in England have initiated a 5-day strike, marking another chapter in ongoing labor dispute that has punctuated the operations of the National Health Service. This strike, which began on Thursday, coincides with a critical period ahead of a general election where the NHS conditions have emerged as pivotal issues. Over the past 18 months, junior doctors below the specialist level have staged nearly a dozen strikes. Key concerns raised by the striking doctors include delay in operation, cancer treatment initiation, and extended wait time for routine doctor's appointment. They have stated their readiness to halt the strike if Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his Conservative government demonstrate a credible commitment to addressing their wage concerns. And finally, on sport, former Super Eagles head coach Gernot Roy has voiced deep concerns over Nigeria's prospect of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, saying that it would be disappointing if the team fails to secure a spot in the tournament. Nigeria, a 3-time African champion, missed out on qualifying for the previous World Cup held in Qatar. The Super Eagles, currently positioned second from bottom in Group C, their performance has raised significant worries among fans and football pundits alike. Roy, who most recently guided Benin Republic to a 2-1 victory over Nigeria, described the potential failure to qualify for the World Cup as a disaster for a football powerhouse like Nigeria. He emphasized the need for realism among players, coaching staff and football administrators, acknowledging the tough road ahead despite the determination to secure qualification. President of the International Boxing Association, IBA, Umar Kremliv, has pledged his commitment to revitalizing Nigeria's boxing gyms across the country. This announcement came during his visit to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja, where he expressed support for improving the infrastructure crucial for nurturing boxing talent. During the meeting, Kremliv emphasized the importance of boxing as a popular sport in Nigeria and outlined plans to address the deteriorating condition of many gyms. He highlighted issues such as leaky roofs and damaged floors and walls, pledging to initiate reconstruction efforts to ensure these facilities are conducive for training. Additionally, Clem endorsed the idea for organizing a boxing tournament as early as August, signaling a proactive approach to promoting and revitalizing boxing activities in Nigeria. And that wraps up our bulletin on news now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkolie.